right. Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Friday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson. Let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight. Hello to everyone inside the chat, live chat right now. First off, what we always do, because it is indeed Friday evening, we have made it through the week. We've made it all the way to Friday, and now we have our nice Saturday and our nice Sunday to enjoy. And for now, it's looking like it's going to be nice, but we're going to get into that. We'll talk about that. Second off, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you're going to do so. We're at 584 subscribers trying to get to that 600 goal. We are 16 subscribers away from that main goal of 600 subscribers. I told you that 600 subscribers we will be doing a Q&A, a question and answer. So if you obviously want to get there, go ahead and share it with all the people that you know, because we're trying to get to that big goal. And what's on tap for tonight? Tonight, obviously, we are going to continue. We will continue. Just talk about the weather for tonight. Talk about the weather for, just our future in general. We're going to talk about how it's going to stay mostly dry. How it's going to stay mostly dry with the slight coastal shower activity. We're going to talk about the tropics as well. Tropics. We're going to talk about that. And then we're just going to also talk about our near to above normal temperatures that are going to be coming back. Yes, our warm up that we are going to receive. We're going to talk about that as that time frame seems to be getting a little bit closer now. But what's going on right now? You might be wondering, what is going on right now? Obviously, there is nothing going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina. That is not a shocker. Not a shocker at all. If we see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we have rainfall that goes on all over here inside of places like Wisconsin, going into the UP of Michigan, northern Michigan, as well as Iowa, the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming, going into the Colorado area, pretty much the Four Corners region, from Colorado all the way over into Arizona, New Mexico. Nevada getting some of that rainfall, as well as Idaho, Oregon, and California. What's going on in terms of our cloud cover? We do have some cloud cover going on, but it's relatively isolated and not that dense at all. It goes throughout the low country and mainly that coastal area, getting on some of that cloud cover. Also, the upstate's getting on some of that cloud cover as well. Midland's looking pretty good. Same thing with the Grand Strand and the PD looking pretty good, but there might be some clouds over there. As we go into our cloud cover for the future, you can see again, it's going to stay relatively clear even as we move into tomorrow to start off our Saturday. And as you continue into Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, we're going to see some cloud cover inside the Grand Strand PD area, but that's about it. Everyone else, like the upstate, may have like some light clouds here and there. Maybe even parts of the Midlands as well, potentially, but it's relatively nice. Current temperatures right now, 73 in Columbia, as well as 71 in Orangeburg, 71 in Somerville, as well as 72 in Georgetown, 74 in Charleston, and 74 in Murrells Inlet, 71 in Conway, 74 in Myrtle Beach, 72 inside of Hartsville, as well as 69 inside of Lancaster. We also have around 70 in Greenville, 72 in Clemson, and 69 in Spartanburg, 69 in Gaffney, 70 in York, and 70 in Anderson. Low temperatures for tonight. Low temperature seems to be around 59 in Spartanburg, 61 in Greenville, as well as 59 inside of Rock Hill. We also do have around 64 inside of Georgetown and 67 in Charleston, 64 in Myrtle Beach and 70 in Hilton Head Island, and even around 61 inside of Aiken. What's going on for our precipitation? No accumulation. That's probably just better. Is expected as we go into the next 24 hours or so. So that includes tonight, that includes tomorrow, and that goes all the way into the nighttime hours of tomorrow night. Now, this goes from 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. So that's for the main part. And no accumulation is expected. So we do not have to worry about that. No rain gear really will be needed. We're going to talk about the models. We're going to see what the models have to say, though. Crazy score, we're at an 11. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, the score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina. And we are at an 11. We are at an 11. Inside the calm category, no significant weather, clear skies, or light clouds. There is a little fog risk. Patchy fog is possible. Especially like mountain valley fog potentially up there in the mountains. But it's overall a stable and dry atmosphere. No thunderstorms are expected tonight. Same thing with tomorrow and Sunday. So we're going to have no thunderstorms as we continue through Friday to Sunday for now. Now that might change, but for now, it's looking like it's going to be a no thunderstorm weekend. Excessive rainfall. There is no excessive rainfall that is expected for the next 3 days. Even as you go into day 4 and day 5, no excessive rainfall is expected. So let's go in and look at the models here. Starting off here at 9 o'clock p.m. You can see that there is really nothing going on. Even as you continue this forward all the way through into the morning time, it's going to be nice and dry tomorrow morning and even into the afternoon. Now, what about tomorrow afternoon / evening, which I should probably get there. Here we go right here. You can see even tomorrow afternoon, evening, nighttime hours, it's still nice and dry. So all of Saturday is going to be dry. We're expecting no rainfall at all tomorrow throughout pretty much the entire state. And there goes that high pressure right there. And even as we go into Sunday, Sunday's looking nice and dry. So we are not expecting any rainfall, at least for a good majority of the weekend all the way into Sunday afternoon. Now we'll talk about the rest of Sunday tomorrow night. So what about our long-term future? So if you start off here where we just ended off at, you can see obviously nothing going on. Now, you might have some coastal activity rainfall. Never have ruled that out, especially as you get into later next week. But for the most part, any rainfall that does occur inland, it's not going to be too bad at all. High pressure takes back over. And as we go all the way into September the 21st and the 22nd, it's staying nice and dry throughout that time frame. And just look at this high pressure that takes over. Now, once we get to around September 25th, we really can't go any further than that just because it's just way too far out. 300 hours is exceptionally too far out, and we really can't say anything for that. Now, once we get maybe a bit further, we might see like some rain disturbances move through, but I'm not really seeing anything in terms of a big storm. I am seeing a little cold front potentially here. Possibly, if we go over into the dew point. Yeah, this is definitely a cold front right here that I'm seeing. And we actually have, you can't see it on the screen, but on the right side there's actually a strong hurricane. Again, 340 hours out, so most likely won't occur. But you're going to have that cold front trying to battle with that tropical air. And it's going to push it out. And that's will most likely, even if this hurricane right here was to somehow try and make it to South Carolina. There is this cold front that also occurred at the same time. That would be interesting because if a cold front occurred at the same time a hurricane was to occur, especially inside of an area, that would significantly weaken it. And actually, I believe that it would. I mean, this kind of also might be trying to steer it a little bit as well, just because it is a front and it is still pretty much an air mass, so it would weaken it. Now, obviously, if the hurricane's stronger, it wouldn't be as impacted, especially if it was weaker. But again, this is over 340 hours out, so I'm not going to say too much else on that, except for there is a cold front that we need to be watching for sometime in the end of September. That's it for our models, though. I want to talk about the warm and the cool air real quick, though. You can see cool air continues as you go all the way into like the next couple of days, and you see some warm air come through like during like, the daytime hours. It's going to be a bit warmer than average during the day, but definitely cooler than average during the night. But when will that warm air really come in? And it looks to really try to come in around September the 18th, and then look at the 19th, and then the 20th. Now, for the most part, you're still seeing some cool air here and there, but as you get into around like September 21st, 22nd, that's when everything really just starts to get warmer than average, and that warm air is going to be right back with us as we go into around September the 21st and the 22nd. And it's not just going to be, just regular heat. I mean, this is going to be heat up back into the high 90s. Back into the high 90s for some. So another heat blast will be coming back towards the end of September. But then that cold front will kick in, like I said, and it will drop things right back down to those 50s as we end off September. But expect more 90-degree weather soon. That's it for the models. Let's go on and talk about the tropics. We actually do have an area still here that we're watching for. It's now a code orange. If you're here this morning, you actually did see this with me this morning. But it says a tropical wave located between the west coast of Africa and the Cabo Verde Islands is producing disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity over the eastern Atlantic. Dry and stable air will likely limit this system's development over the next few days, but a tropical depression could form by the middle to latter portion of next week, while moving west to northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour over the central tropical Atlantic. So this has a 0% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 40% chance over the next 7 days. So this, again, it says dry and stable air will likely limit the system's development over the next few days, but a tropical depression could form by the middle to latter part of next week. So it could limit it, but that doesn't mean that it would completely stop it. So we'll continue to watch for that. And we saw ensembles for it already. We looked at that yesterday. If you want to go on it back and look at that, you can. But it pretty much just showed this thing curving before it even got anywhere near, really, the East Coast. So I don't think that there's really anything for us to really worry about with this system, but we've seen crazier things happen, so I still would say still keep an eye out. And not only that, but it's still way too far out to even set a certain track for it yet. That's the only thing inside the tropics, though, it's just this area right here. We were watching that area inside the Gulf as well. I remember I said at the end of yesterday that there's an area inside the Gulf that we might have to be watching for as well. And I'm looking at the ensembles for this as well. And it says pretty much, it's not too strong of a signal, but it's there. I'm seeing a couple of strong hurricanes on this ensemble right here. I'm not going to show it, but I'm seeing a couple of strong hurricanes on this one. Will it occur? We don't know yet. It's still way too far out, but that would happen inside of the Gulf if it was to happen, but still more than 10 days out. That's it for the tropics, so let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off here with Mr. Chris, who says, good evening, everyone. Hope your day was good. Remember to go and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also share with everyone you know. He's absolutely correct. We have 16 people tuning in, and we only have 7 likes. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why 16 people have tuned in, and we only have 7 likes. But if you're a part of that 9 that have not hit the like button yet, make sure you go and do so. Also hit the subscribe button. We're at 584, trying to get to 600. 16 away from that main goal of 600. And share it. Sharing is caring. You can go on and share it to anything on social media. It could be your family member, it could be a friend, it could be an acquaintance, it could be somebody that you met at the laundromat today. It could be somebody that you met while you were going to go get some fast food. It doesn't matter. Just share it with somebody. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Aunt Lula also says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. Mr. Chris then says, the weather was just perfect here in Moncks Corner, a little breezy and cleared up nicely. Same thing over here. It wasn't the breeziest, even though I know they said wind gusts 20-25 miles per hour today. I didn't really see anything. I didn't really feel anything too breezy at all. Just in my opinion, maybe I just wasn't paying attention hard enough. That's probably what it was. Actually, like 99% what it was, most likely. But I probably was not paying no attention to the wind like that. My Nana says, hello, Jay. Nice day. I sat outside and watched the birds playing in the birdhouse. Great to hear. Glad that you got some outside time. And then Cheryl says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Beautiful day here today. And then I went to the park and sat for 2 hours. I am in heaven. Well, unfortunately, that is great. I'm glad that it was a great day. Went to the park as well. Unfortunately, that heat's about to kick back in, though. So I hope that you are ready for that because I know you definitely like the cool air. But, I don't want to ruin your parade or anything like that. But hot air definitely is coming back. Warm air is coming back, and it's going to be back up into the high 90s. So I'm just giving you your heads up real quick. I'm just giving you your heads up. But that's all that I have here for the audience. Let me go on. I did not mean to do that at all. He says no heat. Well, I can't control it. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I'm going to set y'all over here real quick. Unfortunately, I can't change it. But like I say all the time, I usually like the hotter temperatures more than the cooler temperatures, especially if it gets too cool. I cannot stand too cool. Too cool. Now, I can do, some 60, 70, maybe even high 50s, but once it gets cooler than that, I can't do that anymore. But let's go on now, move off of that, go into the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, that being Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then Duncan, Oklahoma. Starting off with Raleigh first, you have low temperatures tonight at 60, high temperatures tomorrow at 81, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 58. There is indeed no rainfall. No rainfall that is expected at this time. Now, what about severe weather? You've honestly been on a hot streak. No severe weather, and that hot streak seems to continue. What about excessive rainfall? I mean, honestly, you've been quiet there too, and it looks to stay quiet for the most part. So it's going to continue to be just that nice weather over there. Not only for you, but also inside of Philadelphia as well. Starting off over here, you have low temperatures tonight at 61, high temperatures tomorrow at 82, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 62. So patchy fog is expected as you move through not only tonight, but tomorrow and tomorrow night and Sunday morning. So patchy fog for you is indeed expected just as you move through tonight all the way through tomorrow. Now, for that excessive rainfall, there is indeed no threat for any sort of excessive rainfall. Severe weather, no threat for that at all. So again, just another nice period. Just some fog, but for the most part, nothing else really to see there. And then the final location that we talked about, that being Duncan, Oklahoma. With Duncan, you have low temperatures tonight at 69, high temperatures tomorrow at 92, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 70. There is no precipitation that is expected at all tonight or tomorrow. And then in terms of severe weather, there is no severe weather that is expected. Now, what about excessive rainfall? There is indeed nothing for tonight, nothing for tomorrow, and just as you move through the next 5 days, no excessive rainfall is expected there either. And that's all that I have. So let me go on over here to my live radar, because what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? That's a great question. Great question. What is going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise? A stationary front will continue to bring heavy to excessive rainfall to Florida into Saturday, with localized and urban flooding possible. Heavy to excessive rainfall is forecast through Saturday over the southern Rockies into the northern plains. Instances of flash flooding are possible, especially in the higher terrain and inside of the burn scar areas. Not only that, but there will be some air quality alerts out. We talked about them yesterday. We talked about Houston being one of those areas. We talked about Atlanta, Georgia being one of those areas. We talked about New Orleans and Baton Rouge being a part of those areas, as well as Memphis, and now just add on Kansas City, or no, not Kansas City, excuse me, St. Louis, being a part of that area now, where they're trying to restrict time outside due to just air quality alerts being out. And then we're also going to get some frost up there inside of northern Maine as well, so they're going to get closed down to the low 30s tonight. And so for the most part, I believe that is all that we have. Mr. Chris said my arthritis can't take this cool too much. I understand that. And that's all that I see here. So let's go on and talk about the top fans. Mr. Chris is at number 1, Trails at number 2, and then Mr. Anthony is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. So that's it for the 3 top fans for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can. You just have to be here early and be constant, be active inside of the chat. Also, you have to be obviously a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, you cannot type. And speaking of subscribing, this is the last time I'm going to say it. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button so far, do so. 584, trying to get to 600. That's all that I have for tonight, though. Hopefully, that wraps up any questions or anything else that anybody else has for the forecast. You can still ask them if you want to. I will be here probably for about like the next 5 minutes or so. I did get an email. Actually, I did get a picture from Mr. Chris, who says that he sent an email. So let me go ahead and check that out real quick. Sunrise, 6:24 a.m. at Moncks Corner. It's a pretty dark photo, but this was him at 6:24 this morning when the sun was about to start rising here. So, again, pretty dark, but you can pretty much kind of see in the background what he is talking about. So thank you so much for that photo. If you want to send me a photo, you can. You have to send them to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. And that's all that I have for tonight. So we're going to go back here. And hopefully everyone has a fantastic rest of their Friday. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Saturday morning forecast update. Even though it's going to be relatively nice, still will be there for it. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Friday, like I said. And make sure that you hit those 2 buttons before you leave.